Jai Hind all, myself Amita Asthana from AKGC Ghaziabad. Today in this video lecture we will discuss about the sampling theorem, the sampling techniques and the Nyquist rate, and also how to reconstruct the signals from the sampled signal. So here we carry on with the sampling techniques and the reconstruction. So in this, first of all, I would like to explain the sampling theorem. Let's say we have one signal, that is xt, that is we have one signal xt and it is having some frequency component f1, f2, f3 and so on. But the highest frequency component is f max, or we can call it as fm. Okay, so we can say the sampling theorem states that the sampling rate fs, the sampling rate must be greater than or equal to twice of fm. This sampling rate is also known as Nyquist criteria. Nyquist So here we can say that if the highest frequency component present in the signal is fm, the sampling rate is fs greater than or equal to twice of fm. Now this is my xt, and if let's say suppose xt is given as the combination of two signals, that is x1t plus x2t, the highest frequency component or the frequency of this particular signal is, let's say, fs1, or we can say the x1t can be sampled by some frequency fs1 and this x2t can be sampled by some frequency fs2. So this x1t sampling rate is fs1 and x2t sampling rate is fs2. That means the Nyquist criteria, Nyquist rate for x1t is fs1 and nr or Nyquist rate for x2t is fs2. Then what would be the sampling rate or Nyquist rate for x1t plus x2t? So in this we need to consider the higher frequency component. So we will see that if let's say fs1 is greater than fs2, okay, then the nr, the Nyquist rate will be higher frequency rate or higher sampling rate. That means here the nr or Nyquist rate will be fs1. So for addition of two signals, if we need to calculate the sampling rate, then we must look at the higher frequency component always. So this is one, and if let's say we have one signal xt whose nr is, let's say, fs, then what would be the nr of x of at? So x of at nr Nyquist rate would be obviously a into fs. right? So if xt is having the NR of Fs, then xat will have the NR of A into Fs. Similarly, if I say this xt NR is Fs, then what would be the NR for xt raised to the power n? What would be the NR of xt raised to the power n? That would be NR of n into Fs. So these are some properties of Nyquist rate which are very helpful in solving the numericals as well as to solve some tricky questions. One more thing, let's say if I say that one signal I have been given x1t and one more signal I have given x2t. The sampling rate or Nyquist rate for x1t is Fs1 and Nyquist rate for x2t is Fs2. Then what would be the NR of x1t into x2t? So here I can say the NR of x1t into x2t would be Fs1 plus Fs2. This is the NR of x1t into x2t signal. Okay. So we can calculate the Nyquist rate for the signals which are getting multiplied with each other, and also if we do the convolution, if we perform the convolution, then what would be the NR for the convolution, resulting convolution signal. So let us see. So here let's say if x1t NR is Fs1 and x2t NR is Fs2, then what would be the NR for x1t convolution x2t? So this NR would be, if I consider Fs1 is less than Fs2, okay, or as previous we have assumed this Fs1 is greater than Fs2, let us consider only that Fs1 is greater than Fs2, then the NR in this case would be Fs2. The minimum we will take in the case of convolution, if the signals are getting convolved with each other, then we can take the frequency to be which one is less. So that these are some properties that are associated with the NR, and we say these are the Nyquist rate properties. And here we have studied the sampling theorem as well as the properties related to the NR. And sampling we perform only for the band limited signal. A band limited signal is that particular signal which is limited, whose spectrum is limited in a finite band, and out of that it is 0. That means the signal for which we are going to perform the sampling, this xt to be band limited always. A band limited signal should be limited within the band. Here this is x of omega and this is the frequency axis. So my signal should be the band limited signal. Now coming to the sampling technique, here we are very clear that the sampling we do as a first step towards the discrete conversion of discrete signal, and then we can convert the signal, a continuous signal, into digital signal by following the sampling, after that quantization and then the encoding. But here the first step would be sampling always. So what are the techniques by which we can perform the sampling? There are three techniques which are famous for sampling, that is impulse sampling, this is natural sampling, and the flat top sampling. Okay, so we will discuss this impulse sampling and then we will be discussing about the natural sampling and the flat top sampling. So here we go. Let the signal is band limited within the band minus FM to plus FM, and its Fourier transform exists. Now what I am going to do is, I will take one signal xt, let us assume the signal being xt. For performing the sampling operation or the first technique, the sampling technique, we just multiply this particular signal to this impulse train. This impulse train is nothing but del t minus nts, where ts is the interval between the two samples. And how we are calculating this ts? I am calculating this ts by using the NR criteria, which says fs should be greater than twice of fm and ts would be 1 upon fs. So this is how we calculate the gap between the two samples, and hence we take the impulse train summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity del of t minus nts, and where the period being t or ts. So the amplitude of the signal changes with respect to the amplitude of signal. Since here the system value is 0, so we are not getting any values here. Here no values are here, but only we are having these values because we are getting impulses at regular interval. As we are multiplying my original signal to the impulse train, so here I can write this yt is equal to xt into impulse train. Now I am very much interested in, I was having this particular band limited signal. Now I have multiplied this impulse train. Then I am interested to see what is the spectrum of the multiplied, the resulting signal. So what will be the spectrum of this multiplied signal? So in time domain I am having this. Now I will have to take the Fourier transform for this this impulse train. Now coming to that, I will again write here that my sampled signal st, let's say this signal is st and this is equal to xt into del of t minus ts. Okay, now I would like to take the Fourier transform of this particular signal, and as we know by the Fourier transform conversion formula, this Fourier transform x omega would be x omega 1 upon 2 pi convolution, okay, summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity omega s, right, del of omega minus omega s. So this is my convolution for the resulting signal. The spectrum for S omega would be only this one. So we have found out the spectrum formula. So let us solve it to an extent. We will get here that S omega will be 1 upon 2 pi. Okay, and take this omega s to be common. So here I can write this omega s, right? And in this I will be having x omega. Okay, and here this is convolution of, this summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, right? And this omega is already outside, I have taken, so del omega minus omega s, like this. Okay, now I will take this summation to be outside and see what I get is s omega to be equal to, here x, take this inside this summation. Here I am having this omega s upon 2 pi. So I would like to solve in a general term that we know this should be, since omega s is equal to 2 pi upon Ts. So this omega s upon 2 pi will become to be 1 upon Ts. So here I will write simple 1 upon Ts, and I will take the summation to be outside. Summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, and here this x omega convolution with del of omega minus omega s. Okay. Now coming to the next step, which is very important, and we know by the property, we will again apply some property, that is x t. If I multiplied with some, or I take convolution with del of t minus ts, this gives me x of t minus ts. By this property we can solve it to the further expression, and that will be become 1 upon Ts, that summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, and that will be x of omega minus omega n omega s. Sorry, here I wanted to written this x n omega s. Everywhere I need to write this n, so that this n is here and this will be the result. So I have this particular expression from here. Now I would like to plot the spectrum of this signal. So for plotting the expression for this particular signal, what I can do is, see here, actually here it should be, from starting here it is n here, because it is n of Ts, so I can write it everywhere. I can write this n, it is reflecting everywhere, see here. Okay, and now next I will expand by putting the value of n. I will expand, and hence I can get this. Let us remove this property. Okay, so what this property is, 1 upon Ts. I am writing this. For n is equal to 0, it will be x of omega. For n is equal to 1, it will be x of omega minus omega s. Okay, plus and so on up to infinity. And for n is equal to minus 1, it will be x of omega plus omega s. and here the terms will be x of omega plus 2 omega s and x of omega plus 3 omega s and so on, and here it will be x of omega minus 2 omega s and omega minus 3 of omega s, like that. So after putting the value of n, now I am able to draw the spectrum of this particular expression. So I would like to draw. So since my xt spectrum is x omega from omega m to minus omega m, as we can see. So with the help of this, keeping this in mind, I will plot it. So I will draw the spectrum for this is omega m, this is minus omega m. Now this is shifting towards right, omega minus omega s. Okay, so this midpoint is omega s. Why? Because we have shifted this at omega s, and this is omega s minus omega m, and this is omega s plus of omega m, and similar structures will be obtained here. Similarly, in the negative side, I have shifted this to minus of omega s. So here it is minus of omega s, and this will be minus of omega s minus omega m, and this is minus of omega s plus omega m, and similar structures will be obtained towards minus infinity. So here this is my spectrum for s of omega. Now observe very carefully that after obtaining this spectrum for x of s of omega, this omega m is less than omega s minus omega m. Okay, that means this 2 of omega m is less than omega s, and this is what Nyquist said. Okay, let us consider a case where this point starts from here. Okay, in that case, if I write this, omega m will be equal to omega s minus omega m. That means 2 of omega m is equal to omega s. Similarly, let's say the case when omega s minus omega m, omega s minus omega m is less than omega m, then omega s is less than 2 of omega m, and that will give the aliasing effect, and the aliasing effect is a non-desirable effect in sampling technique. Now, so here the conclusion is this is correct, but this is not correct, and this was being verified and expressed by the Nyquist criteria that this particular conditions must be satisfied if we are taking the samples after performing the sampling by any method. So this NR is being verified also by the impulse train sampling, and hence we could verify the sampling theorem and also the Nyquist criteria. Now coming to the reconstruction, how to recover a particular signal. So coming to the reconstruction filter, reconstruction is the reverse technique. What is the reverse technique? Let me tell you. I have obtained S of omega, okay, by performing the sampling. Now from S of omega, I want to get back my original signal xt. So what should I do? I will pass it through LPF filter, that is low pass filter. I will pass it through a low pass filter. So the next point is what should be the frequency of that low pass filter and why low pass filter, like that. So just understand this point, that why low pass filter. I told you that this is the spectrum of, S of omega. So this is the spectrum of S of omega, like this and so on. I am just plotting 2 or 3. And what was the spectrum of my original signal? This is the spectrum of my original signal. Okay. So here it is minus omega m and this is plus omega m. So what I will do, I am interested only this part, this part. I want to get back this part only, right? If I want to get back this shaded part, then I must select a low pass filter, this point, okay. So for selecting this low pass filter, I will pass this spectrum for this particular frequency band only, for this particular frequency band only. So if I pass for this particular frequency band, then I will impose some condition for cutoff of the filter. Let's say cutoff of the filter is omega c. So what should be the range of omega c in that case? So that omega c I can see from the figure. This omega c is lying between omega c minus omega m, and it should be greater than omega m. And hence I need to be very careful for selecting the frequency for the low pass filter. And why I am using this low pass filter? Because I am interested only out of these parts, I am interested only my original spectrum. So I am applying this low pass filter as reconstruction filter, and this condition would be satisfied only when this mod of FFM is less than Fs by 2. See here, this Fs by 2 should be less than, if I put F is equal to Fs by 2, then this condition is verified. What is Fs? Fs is greater than equal to twice of Fm. So bandwidth should be greater than Fm, but it should be less than Fs minus Fm. and this condition is verified, that is whatever I have already obtained this omega c, the cutoff of the filter lying between these two frequencies. So this particular criteria is fulfilled by this condition, that this f mod of f should be less than fs by 2, and hence I can design my ideal reconstruction filter. I will pass my sampled signal to my reconstruction filter and then I can obtain my original xt back, right? Now understanding the impulse response of the ideal reconstruction filter. So for that, since I know the h of omega, if I want to say this is the amplitude, which is I have taken this as t. Why I have taken this amplitude? Let me answer you. From this particular point, this 1 upon ts. If I multiply it by 1 upon ts, I multiply it with ts or t, then I will get the amplitude 1. So I have selected this amplitude as t, or you can say the ts. So my reconstruction filter is already designed. Now I will obtain the HF for this. So this is the impulse response of the filter. As I know, this is the only amplitude. This t is varying from minus fs by 2 to fs by 2. So I will put the limit, and what I am doing here is, let me tell you, we are taking the inverse Fourier transform in that case. So taking the inverse Fourier transform, we just apply e raised to the power j omega t, and this I am taking the, if you remember from the inverse Fourier transform, what we do is we take this ht, and after solving the number of questions based on this, so I am not going to do the details, and putting the limits, we get a sinc function. So the ideal response of the reconstruction filter is the sinc function. Now one thing you must note here, that whatever is in this sine angle, it should appear on the denominator also. So this is what the impulse response of the ideal reconstruction filter, and hence in this video lecture we understood about the sampling theorem, the NR properties, the sampled version, the sampled Fourier, the sampled transform, or we can say we have seen the spectrum of the sampled signal, and looking at the spectrum of the sampled signal, we could derive the impulse response of the reconstruction filter. Thank you.